They never imagined the footage would leak. They never believed she'd actually be detained. But here we are, Chrissy Lampkin court in full glam, being arrested on the spot. And the reason a false pregnancy is so dirty and deceptive, it makes every love and hip-hop storyline appear like Sesame Street. This isn't just another reality TV breakdown, this is perjury fraud and full-blown criminal deceit. Because when the recording played in the trial, a voice said, "He'll never leave. Me if he believes I'm pregnant." The crowd gasped. Jim Jones dropped his pen, and the court issued an arrest warrant right then and there. Was it a desperate ploy to keep Jim Jones near? A perverse strategy to stay relevant after the Dipset? Collapse or something even more? Strategically linked to Camron's treachery and the VH1 backdoor negotiations. Now here's the weirdest part. Sources claim the pregnant fake wasn't just emotional, it was monetized. Yup, we're talking brand deals, interviews, and a full storyline, based on a baby that never existed. This isn't just messy, it's criminal. And Chrissy Lampkin, she just went from reality star to reality. Check you think this is terrible. Wait till you hear who leaked the tape. You could feel it in the air. The court wasn't just crowded, it was boiling. Air conditioning couldn't combat the tension something was coming, everyone could feel it. But no one, not even Chrissy Lampkin herself, was ready for what was about to happen. She strolled in like she usually does, chin high, bright eyes behind expensive shades like she had nothing to hide. But what she didn't know was that someone had brought receipts, and this time they weren't from Fashion Nova, but from a burner phone and a microphone. The courtroom clerk muttered something to the judge, who nodded once and turned to Chrissy's lawyer. "Your client may want to hear this before she continues," he said. Then he motioned the bafe. A flash drive was plugged into the courtroom sound system. A file titled Lampkin Unedited MP3 began to play the voice. Chrissy's calm, calculated, icy. "No, I'm not pregnant, but if I claim I am, will not leave, he'll remain. He always stays when he believes we're developing a family." The courtroom exploded. Screams, hands over lips, even the stenographer stopped typing. Paused mid-word. Jim Jones, dead silence. He didn't move, simply sat there staring at the bench in front of him like it would open up and swallow him whole. And then the judge moved closer. "Manon, is that your voice on this tape?" Chrissy didn't reply, but her lawyer replied, "We'd like to request a private review of too late the judge had already signed. An arrest order right in open court. No commercial break, just cuffs." But wait, how did we ever get here to grasp this moment? We had to return to 8 months ago when rumors first started swirling online. That Chrissy was pregnant again. The bloggers had a field day. Is Jim Jones finally getting a baby? Chrissy Lampkin, shining in Harlem. A new chapter for the Jones family? Even VH1 promised a big revelation in the forthcoming season of Love, and hip-hop secrets unlocked cameras followed her. Every time she stroked her tummy on Instagram stories, she left hints like breadcrumbs. I'm not saying I'm pregnant, but I'm not saying I'm not classic Chrissy Lampkin bait, but there was no scan, OBGYN, appointment, baby. What there was a screenplay, a perfectly prepared storyline meant to earn sympathy, obtain more screen time, and keep Jim Jones held in place while Dipset disintegrated around them. See, Camron had just been exposed the truth about his connection. With Chrissy Lampkin having revealed conversations, emails, and even a beach photo, Jim Jones was reeling. The internet was laughing, and Chrissy wanted to alter the narrative fast. Insiders claim the false pregnancy was her move, a power play. She understood how to keep Jim Jones near, said he could have been upset, but if there was a kid, he wouldn't walk away. That's what she banked on, and it worked at first. Jim Jones started coming around again. He was spotted home searching with her, and he even tweeted a fuzzy photo of the caption, "Blessings on blessings." Fans believed it meant a baby was on the way. Chrissy's business partnerships shot up, and one vitamin firm reportedly paid her $5,000 to publish a false belly update. Another beauty brand declared her their glow ambassador, and baby brands started slipping into her DMs. But the real trouble came when she got sloppy. A film from a behind-the-scenes shot for a Love and Hip Hop episode emerged, showing Chrissy pouring champagne at first fans. Disregarded it. Maybe it's apple cider, they thought. But then came the recording. That voice memo wasn't just captured casually. It was planned blackmail. Sources claim Camron had the audio the whole time, and when the audience turned against him during Jim's son's tearful testimony, he decided to throw Chrissy under the bus. He believed if he's going down, he's bringing everyone with him. So Camron gave over the tape initially made during a late-night phone call when Chrissy was complaining about how to recapture the narrative. She had no idea he was recording. The voice memo was short, little about 2 minutes, but it was enough to rip her whole world to bits. And now the public is rushing to figure out how far this deception really goes. Was Jim Jones truly fooled? Was he in on it? Or was he just another pawn in Chrissy's desperate attempt for power, legacy, and significance in a plot that stopped being funny years ago after the arrest? Courthouse security tried to transport Chrissy discreetly, but it was impossible. Photographers were everywhere. Her wig nearly blew off as cameras flashed. One journalist shrieked, "Are you really pregnant, Chrissy?" Another said it was all for VH1, and her own publicist stood on the stairs, outside whispering, "There never was a baby boom." Now, by the end of the day, Jarn fake pregnancy queen was trending. The memes were heartless. Chrissy photoshopped into baby showers with empty cribs, a fake baby register that highlighted attention and screen time as top presents, and Jim Jones cradling an imagined baby staring puzzled. But what hurt the most was that Jim Jones never came up to the jailhouse, not for bail, support, or even for her mug photo. And that silence was louder than any gavel in the courtroom, because as Chrissy languished in a chilly holding cell in full makeup and treachery, Jim Jones was gone. Supposedly, he departed New York again, this time for good, and word on the street is he's cutting everyone off. But what happens next? What other transactions did Chrissy sign under this bogus narrative? What litigation are waiting in the wings? And who else knew a lie the whole time? Because trust me, this goes deeper. They booked her under her government identity, Christine Lannon. No reality star glitter, no love and hip-hop confessional lighting, just a cold metal seat, fluorescent lights, and the sound of a steel door slamming shut behind her. And while she sat in that holding cell phone, confiscated lashes still intact, the world outside was falling, because the recording wasn't the only piece of evidence that appeared that day, according to sources close to the prosecution. A second leak occurred immediately hours after Chrissy's arrest. Images from a secret group chat titled Pregnancy Playbook, where Chrissy, a VH1 associate producer called Morgan B., and someone saved as CC Cam, thought to be Cameron's assistant. The messages: pure scandal gold. Morgan B. We'll shoot the reveal in Miami. She just needs to pretend she missed her period and seem distraught. Chrissy got it. I'll wear flowing dresses and massage my tummy throughout talking heads. See Cam. Jim Jones won't know what hit him. Ha ha ha. Let that sink in. They weren't just faking a pregnancy. They were presenting it like a mini-series. Fake responses, fake tears, fake positive test props. One message even described a plan to incorporate Jim's mother in the storyline. Chrissy Lampkin, I'll get Mama Jones to start talking about grandbabies that'll sell it. Worse, the producers allegedly offered Chrissy Lampkin a bonus for sticking to the deception. A leaked Venmo transaction showed a payment labeled narrative incentive from a VH1 linked account 2 days after her initial on-air pregnancy tease. By this point, public faith in Chrissy Lampkin wasn't merely shattered, it was cremated, and Jim Jones still no remark and no appearance. But guess who did speak up? Mama Jones. She went live on Instagram, hair in a scarf, smoking a Virginia Slim, and stated, I always knew that chick was full of games. I haven't seen no baby bump, no clinic visits, no nothing. Jim Jones best get up and put that drama behind. She wasn't alone. Fans filled her comments with support. We've been waiting for you to speak, Mama Jones. You always kept it true. Chrissy Lampkin Dunn played herself out of the whole family, but wait, this next bit is what truly shook the table. After the group chat hack, A former Love and Hip Hop editor anonymously posted a 3-minute unpublished cut from a sequence that never aired. Backstage, after recording a confession scene, she slips off her mic, sighs heavily, and mutters, "Damn, I hope nobody." Asks for proof I can't fake this forever. Boom. Her own confession captured raw off camera but extremely real. The clip circulated. Quicker than fire, TMZ uploaded it within an hour. Shade Room titled "It Caught Sliding." Even Cardi B replied, "Led this tea is boiling." The main story was no longer did Chrissy Lampkin lie, but who helped her lie and why, and that takes us back to Camron. Turns out he wasn't just an innocent spectator in this disaster. According to anonymous evidence filed to the court, Cam reportedly sponsored part of the false pregnancy rollout invoices showing that a PR agency was engaged on Chrissy's behalf. Funded directly by Purple Haze LLC, Cam's known firm, their goal is to construct narrative online flood blogs with soft announcements, plant articles hinting to IVF. Yes, they even went so far as to fabricate a fertility battle to personalize the fraud. One blog post that ran, "This campaign claimed, sources believe Chrissy Lampkin has been discreetly having IVF treatments, hoping for a miraculous baby with Jim Jones." It was all part of the script, a contrived comeback narrative for Chrissy Lampkin designed to clean up her image after the Camron affair turmoil and retain the Love and Hip Hop audience emotionally engaged. But now the crowd wants blood. Public comments went vicious. She lied about life, not drama. Pregnant for pity, jail her away, and weaponized motherhood is inexcusable. And as if that wasn't enough, the FTC stepped in because Chrissy Lampkin sold prenatal vitamins and baby safe skincare while claiming to be pregnant. And now those firms are facing false advertising litigation, which means they're giving around and suing her. One firm, Glow Mama Naturals, published a public statement. "We worked with Miss Lampkin in good faith, and we are astonished and dismayed to hear the pregnancy was manufactured. We will be taking legal action." So now Chrissy Lampkin isn't only dealing with public humiliation and detention. She's facing civil litigation, brand blacklisting, and even fraud charges for misrepresenting her physical condition for financial benefit. The court has already called an emergency evidence hearing, where producers, public relations representatives, and Chrissy Lampkin herself are set to be cross-examined under oath. And Jim Jones. Jim still no news, but according to our sources, he's cleaning house literally, as his crew allegedly turned up to the residence Chrissy Lampkin once posted and erased every single item with her name on it. Photographs, clothes, even her dog's food bowl, the message "You're done." But here's the surprise no one saw coming. Soon before Part 2 concludes, we acquired exclusive information that there is a video that is far worse than the false pregnant voice. It shows Chrissy Lampkin negotiating the lie in a hotel room with Morgan B, with scripts and fake pregnancy tests on the table. If that video is shown in court, it's game over. The judge might elevate the charges from misdemeanor deceit to criminal fraud. VH1 could be forced to shut down entire seasons. Many producers could face federal inspection, and Chrissy could go from cuffed in court to convicted inside bars. But what's scarier? Insiders believe she did not act alone. Another Love and Hip Hop cast member reportedly tutored her through the entire hoax, and she is going to be subpoenaed. Court was slated to reopen at 10 a.m. sharp, but by 8:30, a crowd had already formed outside the courthouse. Bloggers with tripods, YouTubers streaming live, aunties holding styrofoam coffee cups shouting, "OJ Chrissy Fear Roya G." And they were. By mid-morning, Chrissy Lampkin was brought back into court in handcuffs, wearing a neutral gray jumpsuit with her initials embroidered in. Her makeup was fading and her attitude was gone. Here wasn't the lady who had strutted across Love and Hip Hop stages, flipping hair and making the shots. Here was a woman going to face a judge with zero patience left. Here's where it gets crazy. Just as the hearings were about to begin, the prosecution wanted to introduce fresh evidence. The court consented, and that's when the hotel video dropped, released to the prosecution just hours earlier from an encrypted server. The footage showed Chrissy and Morgan B the VH1 associate producer, inside a room at the W Hotel in Times Square. Scripts on the table, a pile of positive pregnancy tests showing props a folder called Pregnancy Arc Season 3, and Chrissy says in her own voice, "So after we get beyond the second episode, I'll fake the symptoms. The supplement stuff comes after that. And I'll declare I'm high risk to skip the ultrasound storyline." Morgan's reply, "We'll cover you if you say miscarriage by episode 6, the fans will back off." The courtroom dead silent. The judge glanced at the Jim Jones was not present, but Mama Jones was. And let's just say she didn't whisper this time, instead standing up and shouting, "That's evil, that's straight up." Well, the judge pounded the gavel order in court, but Chrissy Lampkin simply sat there motionless. No emotion, no cries, no defense, because what could she say? The video revealed everything: the preparation, the props, the strategy, the manipulation. The judge pushed. "Forward, Mrs. Lehman, are you prepared?" To explain this film to the court before Chrissy's lawyer could speak, the courthouse doors flung open, and in strode a familiar figure, Yandandy Smith. That's right, the same Yandandy who's been arguing with Chrissy for years, the same Yandandy who nearly fought Chrissy. Perhaps the same Yandandy who had stated, "You think you're a wife because you've been engaged for 15 years?" Now she was marching into court, subpoena in hand, flanked by legal counsel. Gasps swept the courtroom, and the media lost it one. Blogger practically said, "This is giving finale energy." Yandi reached the witness stand, took the oath, sat down, and then delivered the bomb. "Yes, I knew Chrissy Lampkin was lying, and Morgan helped design the false pregnancy. Yes, Camron knew too, and yes, VH1 paid her a bonus to keep the storyline going." The court lost its mind. Even the judge slumped back in his chair like he needed a moment. And Andy went on, "I warned producers this would backfire. I told them exploiting motherhood for the storyline was a horrible concept, but they didn't care, because they stated if the numbers go up, we win." The worst thing was that they urged Chrissy to fake a miscarriage, and if the deception was uncovered, Mick dropped. Chrissy eventually broke down, tears streaming down her cheeks and her voice cracked. "I didn't want to go through with it, but I had nothing left. My reputation was gone. Jim Jones wasn't coming home. I had no storyline, brand deals, or offers. And I believed if I offered them something spectacular enough, I'd matter again. But it was too late. The damage had been done, and the judge ordered a complete inquiry into VH1's production procedures, raising the possibility for significant network-wide legal ramifications. Several producers were placed on emergency leave, and Morgan B. was let out of court by federal investigators. VH1 made a flimsy statement blaming individual decision-making and promised to evaluate organizational ethical rules, but the public weren't buying it. Twitter exploded as VH1 promoted a miscarriage conspiracy cancel. Chrissy Lampkin falsified a whole life to keep a boyfriend she previously lost. Yandandy could have just saved the whole culture petitions to shut down love and hip-hop. Acquired 100,000 plus signatures, overnight businesses dropped advertisements, sponsors went ghost, and Chrissy the judge upped the she is now charged with felony fraud conspiracy to conduct emotional abuse and deliberate deception for financial advantage. If convicted, she may face up to 7 years in prison. Baves took her out of court this time for transfer rather than interim holding. Her last comments were barely audible. "Tell Jim Jones I didn't want for it to go this far." But Jim Jones, he still hasn't uttered a word. Reports claim he's now in Paris conducting talks with independent producers about a documentary series named The Last Truth, the topic, The Genuine Tale. Behind Dipset Chrissy Camron and the fall of a dynasty. Because while Chrissy may have faked a pregnancy, she couldn't fake her demise. And in the end, the deception didn't rescue her, it buried her. She looked devastated when Chrissy Lampkin stepped back into the courtroom escorted by two baifs, a lawyer who appeared to be already rehearsing her plea offer. The world witnessed what she had become, not a victim nor a queen, but a headline waiting to collapse. Outside, demonstrators packed the courtroom steps. Not political activists, fans, former viewers, mothers, or survivors. Women holding banners saying, Pregnancy is not a PR stunt. Motherhood is not for ratings. Lock her up. What had began as a viral scandal was now a national discourse, and then came the last blow as Chrissy sat in court. The prosecution produced additional evidence, a wire transfer receipt from Camron's company account to an offshore consulting firm, purpose of transaction, narrative development fee value $60,000, date 2 weeks before Chrissy disclosed the pregnancy, online. The room burst again. Bloggers were trembling. Even courtroom security seemed astonished. Camron, of course, was not present. He was traveling, according to his team, but sources claim he's been discreetly lawyering up since the initial arrest, but that wasn't the last twist, because the court had one more question. Has Ms. Lampkin gained financially from the alleged pregnancy scam? And the answer is an overwhelming yes. Receipts flowed in from PR agencies, reality show producers, supplement manufacturers, podcast appearances, and a suspected book deal named Forever Yours Maybe, The Chrissy Lampkin Chronicles, which claimed to uncover the hidden realities behind love, loyalty, and survival. That book never written. The deal terminated hours after her arrest. Even the publishing firm made a statement saying, "We do not support false narratives that erode public trust." And then came the last testimony, not from Yandandy, Camron, or even Jim Jones, but from one of Chrissy's old best friends, a lady called Trina Bell, previously a background cast member on Love and Hip Hop, and now a hairstylist in Atlanta, was subpoenaed when previous emails between her and Chrissy were located in the VH1 archive server emails that read like a plan to influence not only Jim Jones, but the entire business. Jim Jones doesn't think properly when he's sad,